Heroes and Dragon Slayers, welcome to our character guide series for Granblue Fantasy Relink. Here we're going to cover everything that we've learnt and how to get the best out of the various characters after putting over 50 hours into playing them. We're going to explain the best moves, their core mechanics, review their skills, and give some suggestions on the best skills and sigils to use so you can make the best build. This guide is going to focus on the Dragon Slayer himself, Siegfried. After playing him extensively, we can say that he deserves having the blood of a dragon flowing through his veins, as he's an amazing single target damage dealer with very high survivability and is a very flexible character to play. You'll be hitting massive chops as you time your combos after each hit to execute massive finishers, dealing huge damage to your enemy's health bar. He's also a great member to have on your team due to his ability to stick to enemies while comboing, as well as his range of buffs including party-wide defense, debuff immunity, and drain buffs. In the build section of this video, we'll show you both a story build and an endgame build that you want to aim for. With my current endgame build, I'm able to achieve 11 million in the 30-second score attack within the training room. Although low compared to other characters, this is seemingly the highest you can get with Siegfried, as I am at the maximum damage cap that you can actually hit throughout your combo, and I've cross-referenced this with other users in the Siegfried channel in the unofficial Granblue Fantasy Relink Discord. But burst damage isn't everything, because Siegfried is a master of sustain and can even potentially outdamage burst characters in a prolonged fight of endurance. First, we'll need to talk about Siegfried's Délivrance support skill, as this enhances his attacks when you perfectly time the hits. This is a vital part of his kit and will be important not only for keeping your damage as high as possible, but also adding extra hits to his regular attack finisher and then allowing you to execute the amazing perfect execution. By timing the input of each attack step in his 5-hit combo just after connecting a hit, you will get a red flash with a sound effect letting you know that you hit the timing correctly. You don't even need to hit an enemy with this, as you can still do a perfectly timed hit when missing, and it's important to note that the timing is slightly different on each swing in his combo string. This means some learning or training is required to get the most out of him, but it's not as hard as it sounds. Furthermore, you can mix in dodges and link attacks as well as his unique attack throughout the combo, and this doesn't stop his perfectly timed attacks so long as you keep comboing directly afterwards. By timing every hit in his combo correctly, you can do a perfect execution with his unique attack button input at the end of the combo string, which will have you jumping into the air doing massive damage on the way up and back down. This is what you want to be consistently aiming to land on enemies, and with the height and reach of this attack, it's easy to target enemy weak points. At your higher node levels in the mastery tree, you will also unlock precise cuts, which further increases your defense and damage cap of these perfectly timed strikes, adding to your overall survivability and damage output, but it also makes you uninterruptible while executing them, meaning you can literally face tank through enemy attacks as you keep your combo going. You can also unlock enhanced attacks in the mastery tree, which will make all of your attacks during link time be automatically perfectly timed, so you can just focus on getting as much damage as possible in those link times. In addition to this, his link attacks will hold your position in your combo string or execution, meaning you never should be afraid of doing a link attack even mid-combo, and in some situations, you can even time your combo finisher or perfect execution just as the link attack is happening to interrupt it mid-animation and then repeat it again after the link attack, letting you effectively get extra hits of your most powerful attacks off. The great thing is Siegfried has several skills and mechanics built in to gap close enemies and start his combo. With his unique attack, you can execute Lunge, which is a massive gap closer and lets you start going directly into your combo afterwards. Even if this misses, you can still do a perfectly timed hit directly as it lands, and you will be completely uninterruptible thanks to his second support skill, Drachenblut. This Lunge attack can even be upgraded in the mastery tree at several different nodes to further increase its range and damage, making it even better at higher levels. So your bread and butter flow for Siegfried will be to get those perfectly timed combos down, mix in dodges and link attacks as needed, while continuing your perfectly timed combo string until you finish with his unique attack perfect execution, and then repeat for massive single target damage. So if you want to be a top tier Siegfried player, then you will essentially need to master the timing of these perfect attacks. For Siegfried's command list, you have his basic combo, which is a slow-hitting 5-attack combo string ending in a combo finisher. This is combo A. The combo finisher will actually be enhanced and do a different number of hits depending on how many strikes in the combo were perfectly timed, and this is like your combo B. However, if all strikes were perfectly timed in the string, then you can execute combo C, which has you finish with a unique attack input for the perfect execution, which is an awesome and powerful attack. Then we have his regular unique attack Lunge, which will gap close to an enemy and then you can start your combo string. Lastly, we have his aerial combo and barrage, and to perform an aerial combo, you need to launch an enemy into the air. To do this, jump and press your basic attack button shortly afterwards, which will launch smaller enemies in the air, and from here you can execute the aerial version of his basic combo, which can also be perfectly timed on 2 of the hits, and then end in an aerial barrage, which is a downward slash and does okay damage. Siegfried does have 8 skills in total, with a decent spread of utility, gap closers, and damaging skills plus a counter. I'm terrible with the names, so do forgive me if I butcher them, but I'm going to try my best, so let's see how we do. First is Yui. This is a multi-slash lunge towards an enemy, which during the animation also gives you Stout Heart, meaning you can do this through attacks and AoEs. It's a very hard-hitting move and lets you get straight into your combo afterwards, meaning it's a great addition to his kit. Then we have Verdrangen. This is a downward slam that makes a line-shaped shockwave go forwards, and it can hit enemies once and will inflict defense down 20%, making it a good way to deal some extra damage on the hit itself and through the debuff. Then we have Nella Nav. This is another shockwave attack that sends a slash forwards in a line, but this time doesn't apply any debuffs, instead deals massive stun damage and can hit the same enemy multiple times, making it very strong for both damage and building the stun gauge quickly. Then we have L'Ombre de Air, and this skill puts you into a counter stance for a couple seconds. If you get hit, it will completely nullify the damage and leap you into the air for a damaging strike on the way up and down. This is very forgiving and a fantastic panic button, making it great for sticking to enemies even through big incoming attacks. Then we have Manigance. This is a 30% attack and defense buff, increasing your survivability and damage, which is a nice addition for harder fights. Next is Salvatore. This is a party-wide buff, giving yourself and the team 2 buffs at once. One is a debuff immunity, and the other is the drain buff, which is essentially lifesteal. So this is helpful for fights where debuff and sustain is a problem, such as enemies that inflict glaciate or burn. Next up is Mirage, another party-wide buff, but this time giving a whopping 70 defense to everyone. This is a massive buff to everyone's tankiness and even lets you survive some hits that would otherwise one-shot you or your teammates. It's got a massive cooldown but is situationally very good. And finally, we have Draconic Release. This is a buff for 15% attack, but the effect grows stronger with each perfectly timed attack, which you do want to be doing anyway, but if you mistime any of your perfect attacks, you will instantly lose the buff. This is a very high risk-reward skill, as you could immediately fluff it and lose the bonus, or keep it going for a massive increase to your attack. But the way that damage cap currently works, even with max level damage cap, I'm not seeing high returns with this skill personally. For your recommended skills to put on Siegfried, we recommend taking the following, as we have found these to be the best for damage output. Yui for an amazing way to deal some quick damage, gap close and start your combo even through attacks, and it has a short cooldown. Verdrangen, as its defense down is a great way to increase your damage output and the rest of the team's. Nella Nav, as it's extremely hard hitting, hits multiple times on bigger enemies and can build the stun gauge to nearly maximum on its own. And then finally L'Ombre de Hair, as this is an amazing panic button counter and a way to stay on an enemy or avoid some nasty AoEs. So your basic flow for playing Siegfried will be to jump on an enemy either with your unique attack Lunge or Yui skill, use Verdrangen when off cooldown to inflict defense down, and then start your perfectly timed combos until completed and use the perfect execution finisher. Don't forget to do dodges and link attacks as needed while continuing your perfectly timed combo string. Mix in Nella Nav when you need to build the stun gauge for link attacks, and use your counter skill to completely ignore AoEs or big incoming hits that you don't want to face tank with your perfectly timed hits, because remember, you can face tank things as long as you're perfectly timing your attacks. For building Siegfried, you will want to focus mainly on damage, but some survivability is nice to keep on attacking through getting hit. Damage cap will be a top priority and is very important, as it will increase your maximum damage that you can deal per hit, and you will be hitting hard. If you do not focus on trying to max this out, you will dramatically reduce your overall DPS, and other attack boosting sigils that buff you beyond the damage cap ceiling will mean you're wasting those slots. Supplementary damage is also going to be a top priority after damage cap, as this is a fantastic way to add a massive chunk of damage to your overall DPS while bypassing the damage cap. This makes you have a chance to deal an additional hit for around 20% damage of the original hit, but because this bypasses the damage cap as it's a separate damage number, it is fantastic and something you should prioritize. However, it is an RNG dropped sigil from Curios. Attack power is a great boost to your core damage and increases more and more the higher level you get it. Stamina is my preferred percentile attack increase sigil, as it offers a massive increase to attack while your HP is high, whereas things like Tyranny will actually lower your maximum HP, and you don't want to be getting one shot as you have the ability to keep hitting through attacks. So stamina is my preference because potions are super easy to use to remain topped up. War Elemental is a rare drop and allows all of your attacks to match an enemy's weakness, so it's really good, but I don't even have this myself yet. Siegfried's unique sigils are a nice bonus, although rare, with one of them granting you 10 seconds of Stout Heart and a 20% defense buff after doing a perfect execution, which further lets you ignore enemy attacks and just keep attacking. Link Together is another personal favorite of mine as it juices up your link attack damage, your SBA damage and chain burst damage, but most importantly lets you fill the link percentage faster, and in any good team, you want to get to link time as fast as possible. Critical hit rate is also awesome because crits actually ignore the hit zones of enemies, meaning your overall DPS will be higher and you hit harder. Finally, additional utility or sustain like Potion Hoarder, Aegis, Nimble Onslaught and Nimble Payback will be nice to push you past one-shot thresholds. They'll keep you sustained because you have loads of potions, meaning you can face tank more hits, and skills that enhance your perfect dodge like we just mentioned will be very beneficial because you can mix this into your combo strings without ruining your perfect timing. I would also like to note that I have tested Combo Booster and Combo Finisher, and they sound like they make sense for Siegfried, but in my experience, I was still hitting the damage cap, even with level 65 damage cap, making them just not that good overall as something like pure attack or stamina. For your stats, we recommend raising attack till you hit the damage cap, then juice your damage cap even higher so you can hit more. Finally, critical hit rate and additional skills like Link Together, Aegis, and Potion Hoarder are going to be nice to have. Additional skills that you get on your V+ sigils will be a nice side benefit. For example, Cascade and Quick Cooldown are byproducts of my damage cap sigils, and this is just how they rolled for me, so they're nice to have. For your over masteries, I recommend focusing on the normal damage cap up, skill damage and skill damage cap up, as I've seen good returns with this, but comment below if you have any other suggestions. Here is my own build as an example that I use to play through the story and the endgame content, completing every quest including the proud difficulty ones, so this will be enough to get you through all of the content without a problem. Of course, use what you have available to get something close to this, and you shouldn't have a problem even though this can be boosted and min-maxed more. But here is my full endgame build for Siegfried. Luckily, I managed to get War Elemental and my double unique character sigil, but I'm lacking better supplementary damage sigils, so this could be optimized further, but you will still be hitting the damage cap with this. I wreck absolutely everything, I literally can't hit any harder outside of improving supplementary damage, and it's an overall blast to play. To be honest, none of the endgame content is a struggle when you have a build this strong. So use what you have and build something similar or as close as possible, and you should be good to go. So now you have an idea of how to play Siegfried, what his best moves are, his skills, and some recommended sigils. Overall, Siegfried is an insane and fun character to play with an easy to pick up but hard to master playstyle. In our opinion, he's one of the best damage dealers as he does super high single target damage and comes with great sustain. Of course, as the game matures, things may change over time, but for now I am loving him, his massive damage, and overall cool style and moveset. If you have any additional tips that we haven't learnt here, please put them in the comments so we can all learn together as a community, and let us know which character you want to see us cover next.